Good afternoon and welcome along to SUTV Live, where for the next 55 minutes today we're going to be bringing you all the build-up to this afternoon's 3 p.m. kick-off as Sheffield United travel to the south coast to take on Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. SUTV Live is free to view for all Blades fans between now and 3 p.m. and for all information regarding broadcasting regulations relating to the live match coverage feed on this platform, please go to sufc.co.uk for everything that you need to know. Well, here's what you can look forward to on this afternoon's show. We're going to be bringing you the team news ahead of kick-off in a little under an hour from now. We'll hear the pre-match thoughts of Slavica Jokanovic. We'll delve into the archives and take an in-depth look at our fine recent record against this afternoon's opponents, Bournemouth. And we'll have an SUTV Live exclusive when we hear from one of the hottest young midfielders in the league right now. That, of course, is Iliman Ndiaye. So, hello and welcome once again to Bramall Lane, where we set the scene for this afternoon's match. And I'll be alongside two very familiar faces to Blades fans. First of all, Kevin Gage, our regular pundit and match commentator. Good to see you, Kevin. We're a bit unlucky on Tuesday, weren't we?
A bit, yes. We've certainly played a lot worse this season. I thought we were okay. We just didn't get the breaks at the right times. But difficult one today as well. Long journey, difficult one today.
Yeah, tough one. And I mean, Bournemouth have been playing very well.
Yeah, they have. They're not at the top of the league for a reason, aren't they? Good team, obviously. Very good football inside. And with the conditions like they are at the moment, it's going to be a good game of football. I think the ball will be zipped around the turf quickly and accurately today, and it should be entertaining to watch. Now,
my second guest, also bringing us his insight into today's match, is the Sheffield United women's team manager, Neil Redfearn, veteran of 800-odd appearances, first team appearances for various clubs around the league. How impressed have you been with how United are going so far, having picked themselves up? This is kind of has the look of a key match.
Yeah, it does. I think they've played well, if I'm honest. I think they've put a decent run together. Obviously the result against Middlesbrough was disappointing because by the sounds of it, the performance was there. I came to the first game of the season when we played Birmingham. You know, it was a 1-0 reverse, but I thought we actually played quite well on that day as well. So I think the signs are good. Obviously, it's just finding that consistency and having that little bit of luck in front of goal.
And up against it today, and as it is here in Sheffield, down on the south coast, it's absolutely siling it down. What sort of an impact on the match is that going to have, boys?
Well, I think that for most players, and we were talking about earlier with Kevin, and I think that most players like playing in them sort of conditions. You know, it makes for fast ball speed, makes for good efforts at goal, nightmare for defenders, so better for attacking players. But I think it'll help the game, to be honest.
So good game in prospect, Kevin?
Yeah, I genuinely believe so. Two very good footballing sides. Yeah, we were talking earlier, and I used to love playing in the rain. On a surface as good as they are these days, the ball will zip off, and as long as you can pass the ball accurately and move the ball about quickly, I think it will suit both teams, strangely. I don't think it gives either side the edge. I'm really looking forward to seeing this game today.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing the game, and of course, first thing you'll want to know is the Sheffield United team news. Slavica has named his team, and it's a case of same again. Let's have a look at it. Coming up, there it is. And it's the same team that played against Middlesbrough. Is that as you'd have expected?
I thought we might be tempted to make a change, to be honest, but that just backs up what we've just said, is that I thought we were okay against Middlesbrough. So obviously if the manager thought we were lacking in any areas or it was a bad performance, he would have shuffled the pack and changed the team round. So I think he's got confidence in those players. He accepts that we weren't at our absolute scintillating best against Middlesbrough, but it's a case of, do you know what, we're on the right road and go out there and do the same again, lads.
And Neil, without going into too much detail yet, because we're going to be looking in detail at the Bournemouth lineup a little bit later on, they are defensively so strong. They're arguably the best defensive team in the league, so the creative skills of Sheffield United and the finishing is going to be absolutely key.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I totally understand why he's trying to keep the same side. He's trying to get some momentum and some familiarity amongst the players. You know, if you're constantly chopping and changing the side, it gets difficult for players to get them relationships, if you like. So, you know, I agree with Kev. I think it's the right idea. I think they're going along the right lines.
Do you get the impression, I mean, it took a match or two for Slav to really get to know his players, didn't he? For him to bed in as a manager and to understand the squad at his disposal. Do you both feel that he's getting there now?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we can see it in the performances, can't we? I think managers make up their mind about players quite quickly, to be honest. I'm sure Neil's been an experienced manager, he'll be able to tell you better than me. But I think they know what they require out of the players, and I'm sure Slav has got a very good idea of his best 11. He'll be close to thinking about his best 11. He's obviously got another window to change it if he needs to, but you can see exactly why he's picked the same side. And we've also got a few players coming back from injury, which gives him lots of other options from the bench, or if he does want to shuffle his pack. And the players are getting used to the manager as well. It works both ways, doesn't it? The manager has to look at his players and decide, and then the players have to get used to what the manager wants from them on the pitch.
Well, you get used to a different style, don't you? And Slav clearly has got them playing a different way to how Chris Wilder had them playing. Yeah,
I mean, every manager comes in and they have their own ways of playing, their own ideas. You know, Slav's come in and put his own marker down and his own way of playing. It takes time for the team to settle and to gel. But I think the more that they can play together and the more they can get the understanding within one another, particularly, you know, the defensive element, if you like, the back four and the midfield in front, you know, how to keep the shape and how to balance and cover off one another, then it becomes natural then. You know, they get into that process where it becomes familiar for one another. Tough game today, like Kev said. I think he's spot on. I think if we can get a result here, it's a big marker for the club. But if you look at the results of the performances lately, they've been really good. McGoldrick, McBurney and Brewster on the bench. He's got those attacking options, hasn't he? I mean, there's skill, talent aplenty there if they click.
Well, the squad is so strong, Sheffield United. I mean, it really is. We've got an abundance of talent that we've paid a lot of money for as well, by the way, on the bench. And with one or two to come back from injury as well. So, yeah, there are a few options on the bench, and it creates huge competition for places up front. He's gone with Sharp again today. Sharp not at his best. Against Middlesbrough, missed one or two opportunities that he knows he should have done better with, but I think it's the right decision to keep with him because it's Billy Sharp and he knows where the goal is, doesn't he? And you bank him to come good and to get those vital goals just when we need them.
Could do with them today, couldn't we? Certainly could. You talk about the strength of the Sheffield United men's squad. Your women's team has made a pretty decent start as well, Neil.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've recovered from an early defeat. Obviously, we got beat first game of the season at Blackburn, which is a bit of a disappointment. But since then, we've won 3 on the trot. We sit top of the table, but it's only a start. You know, we know we've got a long way to go. The women's championship has really improved. But there's been some really good signs there, and obviously the girls are in a good place. They're enjoying themselves at the minute.
And that's a big thing, isn't it? You know, if you've got a good squad and they're playing with a smile on their face and getting results.
Absolutely, you know, and it works hand in hand. If you're coming in, you're enjoying your football, then you're going to play well, and you know, it's something that we try and pride ourselves on.
You keep an eye on their results as well, don't you, Kevin?
Yeah, I've been a follower of the women's game. I had some family connections to it. My stepdaughter played from a couple of years ago, and hopes to get back into it when she's having a bit of a break at the moment, doing teenage girl things, but she's going to get fit and get going again. So yeah, I keep an eye on it. It's good for the whole club. Obviously, you know, it'd be fantastic if the women could get promotion this year and, you know, join the, I was going to say the big boys, but it'll be the big girls, won't it, in that Women's Super League? And it just all creates a fantastic atmosphere at Sheffield United if you've got two senior teams doing really, really well.
What do you think the chances are actually of United going all the way and getting promotion?
Well, we've made a good start, but you know the league now there's 12 teams in the league. There's 8 full-time teams, and obviously we're one of the 4 part-time teams. So that puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage. But what we have got is a real unity, and we've been playing together now, you know, under myself for 13, 14 months now. Got a real strong identity, real strong DNA of how we play. and we're just starting to find his feet, I think, with some real momentum. So we're in there, and we've got a realistic chance, but we've got to be consistent.
How aware are you of the burgeoning interest, if you like, in the women's game? Because I get the impression that the whole media profile for women's football is on the rise, and that Joe Public is starting to begin to get a handle on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's massive. The game's improved. I've managed at the championship level at Doncaster Bells, which was maybe 4 years ago. The standards has improved unbelievably since then. Far more teams are full time. That year we won the league by 10 clear points, and I don't think that's going to happen this time, because I think there's so many sides that are capable of winning it. So I think it just makes for a really interesting campaign. The level's getting better, and I think people are realising that. And
if we did get promotion, am I right? Is it just one that goes up?
There's one side that gets promoted out of the championship into the top flight, yeah.
And then you'd have to go full time.
Full time, yeah. That would be the criteria. But everything's in place. The clubs, made sure that everything's in place for us to go full time if we do get promoted. And I know what the remit is, and we want to try and get there. So we made a good start, like I said, but there's still a long way to go.
Well, of course, we'll wish you all the best for that. Hope it really does motor on during the season, and that you do have a great campaign. Now, let's take a little bit of time now looking back at Tuesday night. Of course, it didn't quite go as we'd hoped. Wound up being 2-0 to Middlesbrough, and these are the highlights.
And we're underway. Middlesbrough against Sheffield United. Spawn for support. Fleck once more. Good tempo about this attack for Sheffield United. Ndiaye with the strike, takes a deflection, and the keeper lost it for a second there. Watmore with the early strike. What a finish that is! Came from nowhere. Ball threaded into the penalty area, and Duncan Watmore strikes it into the top corner. 9 minutes on the clock. Middlesbrough 1, Sheffield United 0. Howard's gone for it. It's not very close. Space here for Billy Sharp. 3 in the box. Sharp might go himself. Baldock looking for Ndiaye. What a take that is. Iliman Ndiaye thunders it against the post. There's a man in the penalty area. Hands on heads from Ndiaye. It's a nice little back heel looking for Crooks. Shot from McNair. Beats Olsen to his right-hand side. Middlesbrough double their advantage. It's Paddy McNair from distance. 37 minutes on the clock. Middlesbrough 2, Sheffield United 0. Looking for Fry, who stayed forward. Chance here. Wonderful save to deny McNair a second. The flag is up, but Olsen didn't know that. The half-time whistle has gone. Morgan Gibbs-White. It's opened up in front of him. Gibbs-White with a strike. Off target. Still with David McGoldrick. Now Osborne, deflection on the cross. Sharp, I think it was just behind him. That's a great pass into Sharp. Now Gibbs-White, look at Ndiaye. Gibbs-White's gone himself. That's a lovely ball for Sporer. Just forced wide slightly. It's been given a lot of the goal to him out there. Olsen pushes it clear. Sharp looking crossfield. Egan's got forward. Here's David McGoldrick. Well, Lumley called into action. A terrific save, but what a strike from David McGoldrick. Gibbs-White with the cross, looking for Sharp. Howrahan. John Fleck with a drive. Maybe Sheffield United's last opportunity to register on the score sheet. There is the full-time whistle.
So 2-0's how it finished, and I'm sure that Neil Warnock could have had a little bit of a smile on his face after that one. Kevin?
Yeah, that would have pleased him, wouldn't it, to get one over his old club. But as I said earlier in the start of the show, I wasn't too despondent with the performance at all. I thought we were very unfortunate to go in 2 goals down at half-time. It was just 2 speculative shots that one flew in the top corner, was unstoppable, and the other one was a decent strike into the bottom corner. And we certainly had our chances in that first half to at least equalise, and certainly to get at least 1 goal back.
Well, Ndiaye hitting the woodwork, Neil. If only that had gone in, and then later in the game there's that terrific strike from McGoldrick, and there were others as well.
Well, if you look at the highlights, obviously we got in front of goal as many times as Middlesbrough did. The difference is the quality of the finishing. you know, the Middlesbrough at the back of the net twice, and we didn't. And I think that, you know, if we can get that bit right, because obviously we're in games, then you know, we can get results.
Well, let's hear some of the reaction from after the game, and first of all from the manager Slavica Jokanovic.
Slavica, 2-0 defeat tonight. What did you make of your team's performance?
We didn't perform well tonight. At the end, Boro was more solid, more aggressive, quickest and stronger team than us. At the end, we start really slowly. They start to win a lot of the challenge. Second phase, they run the quickest than us and attack forward. We was made at the beginning few mistakes. We didn't find the space for turn and for play forward. We play a lot of the time backwards. In second times we improve a little bit. We start to try run more. We created some chances, but unfortunately we didn't be in situation for score some goal and come back in the game.
Why do you think that is tonight? Why do you think that Middlesbrough performed better than your side?
But it's simple. I'm watching the game, and at the end, this is my sensation. What I am find it are in the time where we play the game. This is what I try explain me. What is the reason why we don't find it these spaces what we expect? Why we don't avoid this kind of the situation? This is okay. It's question what we need to analyze it. We are not especially surprised. We know how they will be aggressive and how they will follow us. We expect we can find it some space behind of this kind of the marking what they made in the usually, but we did find it the timing for run these spaces. We didn't run enough in these spaces at the end. We didn't create a lot of the problems for them.
The manager there, Neil, I think it goes along with what you were saying a little bit earlier on. Disappointed naturally, but a long way from despondent.
Well, they played well. You know, they created lots of good chances, and like you say, it's probably disappointment is that one of them didn't go in, because I think if they probably could have scored at a time when Middlesbrough were looked a little bit low in the performance, then they could have got something from the game. I think he obviously feels from his comments it's a game they thought he could have got something out of. So he's probably a little bit disappointed with that.
What do you think they're realistically going to be thinking down there, Kevin? Because I mean, I've not looked at the bookmakers' odds, but I'd hazard a guess that Bournemouth would be fairly warm favourites. Would they be happy to get a point this afternoon?
Well, I certainly would. I'd snatch your hand off for one right now. I don't think any team goes into a game thinking, let's just go for a point. Of course you don't. The manager will be insisting that, you know, it's an attacking display and you want to try and take all 3 points. But realistically, yes, a point would be absolutely great, and it will be hard fought, and we'll have earned it today if we do manage to cling on for a point.
I don't know whether this is a fair question, but one for both of you. You know, I mean, you have played with different managers. You've been a manager yourself, Neil. I mean, some people rant and rave. Some people are cool, calm, and analytical. Some really, you know, put it on their players. How does Slav deal with his team? Do you know what sort of style does he have?
I mean, obviously, I've managed against Slav when he was at Watford and I was at Leeds. I mean, he's an imposing figure. That's the first thing. You know, at 6'3" or whatever he is. I mean, he's a giant of a man. But he's quite measured and quite calculated with his, you know, with his responses. And I think for me, you know, that's the right way to manage. He doesn't get flustered. He doesn't panic. He's obviously got a way of playing, you know, that works. He's been really successful at the teams he's been at. And I think that there's signs here this season, if you look at some of the consistency in performances recently and the results that have gone with it, it looks like we're starting to make his way through the league.
Talk about the fact that he's imposing. He sort of has that look, Kevin, that suggests that you wouldn't be too quick with the glib one-liners and taking the mick, would you?
I've said before, he looks a bit like a Bond villain, doesn't he? I get that image in my head every time I look at him. Yeah, he does come over very cool, calm and collected, doesn't he, in his interviews, and you have to find yourself, listening to concentrate on what he's actually saying because the accent and things. But I'd like to think behind the scenes he absolutely goes ballistic at times. I think managers need to do that on occasions. I think you can be too cool and too calm and too collected at sometimes, and I'm sure he has his moments. Not that he's had to lose his cool, I would imagine, this season too much, because as we keep saying, we're not playing appallingly badly. We're just not quite getting the breaks at the right time and just making a few wrong decisions at crucial times.
Just going off script for a moment, in your playing careers, who were the frighteners? Who were the real ranters? Who stands out?
I probably think right back to the beginning of my career. I was apprentice at Forest under Brian Clough. I was cleaning boots one day and felt a bit on my nail, and I thought I'll just bite that off, and he shouted from down the corridor to stop me biting my nails. I was only 16, I was frightened to death. I went and shut the door, locked myself in the boot room.
Was it the young man?
Young man, yeah, very much so. But yeah, I agree with Kevin. If it's bad, they've got to know it's not right. But I think that there's also a place for that calm and that measure, because you've got to solve problems as a manager. I think that's key.
Were you ever on the receiving end of tirades?
No, I did everything perfectly well. No, I had Dave Bassett, so enough said there. He was frightening as you're coming up in the youth team and going through. I had him in the reserves as well in the early days at Wimbledon. So yeah, everybody knows about what Bassett's like. But a good blowout, I think, from the manager does you the world of good sometimes. It puts you on edge a bit. Yeah, absolutely. And players know when they deserve it, or the teams know when they deserve it. But that hasn't been the case this season. Let's not get carried away. We're not asking Slad to go absolutely ballistic in the changing room this afternoon, and let's hope he's got no reason to. Oh, it'd be lovely to think that we're going to finish it and all have great big smiles on our face, wouldn't it? It'd be good to think that something's going to come from this match. Well, there's plenty coming up to look forward to here at Bramall Lane, and in the matches ahead, there's Sheffield United against Stoke City. That coming up on the 16th of October, and on air from 3 p.m, and as well a real one to look forward to here, Neil. Tickets on sale now, I gather, just a quid a time. There they are, got it there. Sheffield United against Liverpool here at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. Yeah, it'd be a great occasion for everybody. Obviously we want to try and get a result and give a good account of ourselves. We've got a big game tomorrow against Crystal Palace, and we want to try and get the points out of that. And then obviously the Liverpool game's the next league game up. But they'll be tough. Be a tough game for us. But if we get everybody down and cheering the girls on, I'm sure we can try and get a result from it. How do you think they'll respond to playing actually in the big stadium and getting a bit of hometown support? Oh, I think they'll love it. I think they'll love it. We had a good turnout against Durham, for the first home league game of the campaign, and there were just short of 1,000 there, I think, and makes a big difference, to the girls. It really spurs them on, and they reacted well to that day, and obviously this will be a great occasion for them. And it's how things start, isn't it? It's get that little bit of momentum, start putting some results together, and people latch onto it, and before you know where you are, the crowds start coming. Yeah, absolutely. There's no difference, in the women's game as regards that or the men's game. Is that if you get a lot of people in, you've got to make sure you send them home happy, and we'll try and get a result and try and put performance on. And if we can do that, then hopefully we'll get them back the week after. Would be terrific, wouldn't it, to see the women come away from this season with some real success, Kevin, and have, hopefully a promotion into the top league. Absolutely, yeah. As I said earlier, it just benefits the whole club, doesn't it? It just raises the profile of Sheffield United Football Club, full stop. It'd be lovely to see. Good luck to them. What's your philosophies, Neil, as a coach? What do you really want to instill in your team and in your players? Well, obviously, you want us to have the ball. We want to play. We want to be able to play through the thirds and build. I want the girls to express themselves. What is important to me is that I find out about them quickly, not just as footballers, but as
as individuals and as human beings, and what makes them, you know, perform on a match day and through the week. I want them to enjoy it. You know, I want them to play with a smile on their face. I want us to be a competitive side. I think we've shown that this season. And a side that represents the club with pride, and I think we've done that on numerous occasions since I've come in, and you know, be proud of playing for Sheffield United.
Well, we're watching there some of the shots of you in action, coaching the team. How important is it for you when you going through this sort of a session to know exactly what makes each person tick?
Oh, it's key. You know, you know your players. You know what you want to do and what you want to get across. You know, the coaching side of it now for me is something, you know, that comes natural. So, you know, going out there and working with the girls is where I'm at my best. And obviously you get that connection and you get your points across. And you try and, you know, put it into practice in the games. And I think, you know, by and large, since we've come in, we've done that. From your own playing days, Kevin, what did you, I mean, as you look back on your career, what did you take most from a coach? I mean, how were you best approached by a coach to actually get a message across with you?
I think enthusiasm from the coach is probably one of the key aspects. There's only so many technical things you can do as a coach, and so many practices you can put on. But if the coach is buoyant and enthusiastic and up for it, to paraphrase it, I think that's the big thing for me anyway. That was the big thing for me. The sessions have got to be interesting, of course they have. You don't want repetition all the time and the same old thing week after week. But if everybody around the club is willing to and happy to get involved in the sessions and are enthused by them, I think that's the key aspect. And looking at it from the other point of view, you find or you see one person who's maybe not taking things on board or maybe being a little bit disruptive. Part of your skill is to react and recognise that very quickly. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, you listen, once you get them where they're expressing themselves and they're not frightened of going out there and playing, and you know, and they're interacting as a group, you know, you often get the point where you can explain a session to them and then you can see the one that's not thinking about it, and you can go, you know, so what's the rules then? And you let them tell you back and they've forgotten because they've not, you know, so you say, right, switch on next time, and then you go again. And but I think by and large that, you know, we're lucky because we've got girls that want to be here and they want to perform for the club. They love playing, they love being at the club, and they love training, and you know, for me they've been a pleasure to work with. So the message for anybody who's watching now, perhaps fancying coming along, you know, and maybe bringing their youngsters along as well, get along here and watch United in action against Liverpool. Well, that's important, you know, and I would say that whether that be, you know, men, women, girls, boys, you know, I remember my dad taking me to watch, you know, Leeds when I was a kid, at 7-year-old, sat in the West Stand, and it's where you start learning, it's where your education starts. So it'd be lovely to see some parents down and some young girls watching, you know, the girls play on Bramhall Lane and against Liverpool. That would be great. My first ever match, Kevin, it was right behind us here on the Cop. I can remember as a little lad, my dad bringing me here on I think it was a Wednesday night, and there's the smell of cigars and Bovril and pork pies, and you come over the top as it was then and see the whole huge terraced area and the pitch illuminated. I mean, that's a magic moment in any young kid's life, and I think we should never lose sight of just how important it is to inspire youngsters. Well, football in the 1940s, John, was good fun, yes. 60s. Anyway, time to move on, I think, from that note. Let's take a look again at the team news. Sheffield United, first of all, this is the way they're lining up, and it's same again. Yeah, as we spoke earlier, I've no problems with that team whatsoever. As I said, I think the temptation would have been to maybe give Ndiaye a rest, possibly, because this will be a difficult game, and he's played a lot of football recently, and he's been brought into the side, you know, and made a real impact. So maybe he could have flipped a couple of the front players around. Billy Sharp's played a lot of games as well, hasn't he? And he wasn't been at his absolute best on Tuesday night. but he's kept faith with him. But the defensive unit looks very strong and very solid, and Ender Stevens has come back in the side as if he's never been away, so that's a real positive for us. And he's kept faith with Norwood in there, who's got severe competition now with Hourahan coming in. But it's a testament and a confidence booster for Norwood that he's retained his place. So, as I said earlier, you know, we go again. Great to see Mousset back as well on the bench, obviously at his old club. But I mean, a fit Lys Mousset is a real asset for Sheffield United. Whether it be coming off the bench as an impact player or if he ever gets a starting berth, you know. So yeah, strength on the bench and a decent first 11.
Middlesbrough one day, and then today Bournemouth away. Good job we're not in the middle of a petrol crisis or anything, isn't it? Anyway, here's the Bournemouth lineup. What's your thoughts on that one, Neil?
Well, it's a strong lineup. You know, if you look at you know, the quality that they've got, if you look at the likes of Kelly and Cahill at the back, you know, one up and coming young centre back and the other one a vastly experienced centre back. You know, and the likes of Lerma sat in front, you know, that's probably as good as you're going to get at this level. So it'll be tough for us to get in front of goal, I think. You know, and then they've got experience in midfield. Ben Pearson, ex-Preston, been about, you know, the division. Philip Billing, who's a quality midfield player. And obviously the big one is Solanke up front. You know.
Solanke's seven goals to his name already this season.
Yeah, he's top quality. And we were talking off air as well about they're a big team, Bournemouth. Yes, they play attractive football and they like to knock the ball around, but they've got some big players there. I mean, Billingham in midfield is 6'4". We've got Cahill and Kelly at the back, 6'3", 6'4". So they could well cause us some problems at set pieces. We've been saying this for a few weeks now. You know, nobody's really taken advantage of our lack of height, apart from West Brom game. We seem to have got away with it a bit, but teams must look at our side and go, do you know what, we can cause them problems with set pieces, because we are not a tall side.
Billing's a bit of a powerhouse in that midfield, isn't he?
Very box to box, yeah. He's got a licence to do it because obviously Lerma's sat in. He gives them that assurance in front of the back four. You know, and I think Billing's one of them. If you don't pick him up, if you don't track the runner, then he can cause you problems. But I think we're quite strong in there.
Well, we saw the players arriving, and as they, or just after they got off the bus, we caught up with the goalkeeper, Robin Olsen, and got his thoughts on today.
It's a game. Seriously, I don't care if it's sun, rain or wind. I just want to play the game, and yeah, I'm just enjoying it. So yeah, it is what it is. It's the same for both teams. So nothing I can do something about.
First trip to Bournemouth?
First trip, yeah, for me, yeah.
And you looking forward to getting more action? You keep playing a little bit more, and a little bit more. You get in there.
Of course, I mean it's all. I want to play all the games, and now I'm lucky that I got the opportunity to play games, and I just want to continue with that. So for me, it feels like it's going better and better. It's a new league, so of course it will take time, but I think I've settled in pretty fast. So yeah, I'm just work hard every day and enjoying it, and of course enjoying to play games.
Part of that hard work, you'll be aware you'll have done your own work on Bournemouth, that they've been playing well recently. I'm assuming you've done your own work with Matt Duke and see what threats that they've got today.
Yeah, we have seen some clips, of course, the whole team. But I mean, it's not so easy to just look at the clips and know how they will play. I mean, we play against a good team now, but in my opinion, we are in the same level as them. So can we just forget the last game and look forward and be prepared and keep focused? Then we will have the big chance to win this game today. Because, like I said, we have really good players as well. So yeah, we need to have respect, but they need to respect us as well.
Good luck, Robbie.
Thank you.
Well, he could be an important figure today, and of course we were up against Bournemouth in the Premier League last year. Bournemouth, one of the teams relegated, and same as we are, Kevin, looking for the immediate bounce back. And our record against Bournemouth in recent years has not been bad.
Yes, we've done okay down there, haven't we? Memorably, our first game back in the Premiership when Billy got that last-minute equaliser, as you can see there. Traditionally it's been a decent place for us to go, and we usually pick up points. You know, I don't think that comes into play at all when it comes to today, though. You know, past history is out the window. It's a whole new ball game, as they say today. Interesting listening to the goalkeeper, because you tend to not focus on keepers until they make mistakes. All you want from a goalkeeper is just to be really secure and really solid and not have to discuss him at all. So he's done okay so far without pulling up any trees, because he hasn't had to make outstanding saves yet, and let's hope he doesn't have to do too many in the future.
Concentrating on Bournemouth, Neil, Scott Parker now managing down there, and he's got them having produced an impressive start to the season. I mean, their run of form in the season so far would have been pretty much what he'd have hoped for.
Well, he's got a good group of players, but you've still got to get them winning. You've still got to get them consistent, and he's done that, to be fair. There's a pressure that comes with Bournemouth now, if you like, because obviously they're an ex-Premier League club. They've just come down, they've got the players that they've got, there's been big investment there. You know, like there's pressure at this football club. It's an ex-Premier League club, only last season. You know, and the expectations there to get the team back up. And to be fair to Scott Parker, he's managed that bit really well.
He made a lot of friends, didn't he, in his time heading Fulham. You know, okay, it didn't work out in the end, but he kept plugging away and they kept getting results, and he carried himself with a lot of dignity.
He did, yeah, because there were some frustrating games for him there as well, where they were, you know, just the wrong side of a result, and you know, and he kept his head and he kept him in contention for a long time. And like you say, I think he did get a lot of admiring glances his way, and I think that, you know, Bournemouth actually coming in for him and making him manager was probably in their minds from a way back, you know, looking at what he'd done at Fulham, because, you know, obviously he's a talented young manager. Had a great career as a player. Was a young player at Charlton when I signed for Charlton.
He was a very good player, wasn't he?
He's a very good player, yeah. But and he knows the game. He understands the game, and it comes across quite well. And it's really apparent with the way his sides play.
So today, Kevin, you've seen that Bournemouth side. You've seen our side. Are we going to be on the ropes?
Oh, I don't think we're going to be on the ropes. I think we're going to probably try and give as good as we get. And I don't think it's going to be one-way traffic, because we like to have a possession of the ball. So when we do get the ball, we can keep it and we can move the ball up the field. And I'm sure we will create chances, because we have players who are creative and got some flair in our team. So I don't think it's going to be a defensive rearguard action. I don't think we'll be hanging on, but it's going to be difficult for us today against a very good Bournemouth side.
Well, I think it's probably important that we have a little bit of a recap of the broadcasting regulations this afternoon, and for all the details around those regulations surrounding the game, go to sufc.co.uk for everything you need to know. That's sufc.co.uk. It'll tell you just what you're going to be able to watch on this platform and what you aren't. Players out there, the rain's still coming down steadily, and my esteemed colleagues here this afternoon say don't worry about that, it's going to make it a decent game. They both like playing in those conditions, seeing the ball fizzing around. Well, one player who's going to be, I think, having something fairly special this afternoon is George Baldock. He's going to be playing for the 150th time. And we caught up with him earlier in the week and asked him to look back on his time at Bramall Lane and to look at the match and the matches that really maybe meant the most to him.
Yeah, I still, you know, say to all my family and friends the best day was the game at Hillsborough. Obviously, for me coming from a club that you know, down south, and coming up here and just talking to all the locals and things like that, and you know, telling me the importance of the fixture for both sides of the city. You know, I didn't really quite understand it until I stepped foot out there, and then yeah, hit me in the face, and yeah, fantastic day, and yeah, probably my favourite moment.
So rolling on then perhaps to now, having experienced such highs, how are you as an individual dealing with, well, teething problems and perhaps a slightly difficult, harder time?
I think you have to stay consistent, try and stay focused, and stay in your lane a little bit, not listen to too much outside noise. You know, it's all well and good when things are doing well, but when things aren't going right, you know, you hear other people's opinions and things like that. I think it's just if you listen to any podcasts or any books about, you know, successful people in life, they always kind of stay consistent and don't look at the past, but also don't look at the future, and stay in the moment and go from there, game by game.
George Baldock reflecting on his time at the Lane as he approaches his 150th appearance, and he's an impressive talker, isn't he? He's clearly got the mindset right, Kevin.
Yes, he's not only that, his performances have been very, very good. He's been very positive. He's kind of won me over the last couple of the years because I was a bit unsure about him, mainly for his attacking qualities. Defensively, he's always been sound. He's quick enough and he's sharp enough and he gets good tackles in and he can block things. But his distribution sometimes has been found wanting, and his final ball to create, you know, assists and chances for others. But it's getting a lot better, and he's been probably our most consistent player over the last 3 years, all told.
How much does he impress you, Neil?
I think, yeah, really impressed with him. I think that if you look back through the successful times that Sheffield United have had in recent seasons, I think George Baldock and Enda Stevens have been quite pivotal to that. You know, every time I've covered, you know, the Blades for different media outlets, they have been the two players that have been consistently playing well for me. They understand the level. They've gone from playing wing back to playing full back. You know, obviously both playing today. It's a slightly different role, but the principles of playing there are the same. And like Kevin says, I think obviously George is a top class defender. You know, he's a real competitor. He's a warrior. And he's a bit of a talisman for Sheffield United, to be honest with you, because he's been there a while now.
Yeah, the word talisman, that's quite telling, isn't it? You know, because fans know, don't they? They watch and they know, and they can tell looking from the seats, from the stands, they can see who's an important man, and I think that's why they've latched on to George.
Yeah, you know what you're getting from him, don't you? You know he's going to be rampaging down that right-hand side. Such a willing runner to get on the overlaps and to make that right wing back role his. As I say, his distribution sometimes lets him down, but he does get into those crossing positions so often. Obviously, once or twice, you know, you can't be correct in your decision or your delivery 100% of the time. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh with him, but you know, I'm looking for him to take the next step and to make sure every delivery that he puts in is spot on.
Let's hope today is one of the days when he finds the good deliveries and finds the telling passes, and hopefully gives Sheffield United an attacking force this afternoon, as well as giving those much vaunted defensive qualities a run out. Now, let's move on to our next interview, which is Iliman Ndiaye. And he was part of the team on Tuesday night that lost at Middlesbrough, and lucky not to be on the score sheet himself. And despite being on the wrong end of the results, I think he was pretty pleased with the way United had played overall.
Yeah, it was very frustrated, you know, to go away and, you know, not get points. We've had our chances, you know, we didn't take them. They did 2 good goals, so.
You had a chance yourself. Talk us through that, because it was a brilliant first touch, maybe just a lick of paint away from getting Sheffield United back into the contest.
Yeah, so obviously I want to score goals, so once I touched the ball and I took another touch, and you know, my instinct was just shoot and score, but you know, I didn't. Ben was next to me, you know, arriving in the box, so it would have been better if I, you know, passed it to him and get us up 1-0 up.
You've come in, you've hit the ground running. You must be really pleased with the way it's gone so far.
Yeah, I think I'm progressing very well, you know. especially with the lads, helping me progressing, in training, talking to me a lot, because it's my first time obviously playing week in, week out, getting games in, so.
You mentioned the lads, I mean, just one in particular, Morgan Gibbs-White, since he's come into the club, you two seem to have struck up a real understanding. Was that instinctive? Did that just happen straight away?
Yeah, I think it's because we're same type of player, we understand each other. We talk a lot as well, where to, how to pass the ball to each other, the 1-2s and all that, but it comes, easily.
How much have you improved with playing with people like Morgan and others in this first team? Does your game go on to the next level straight away, almost, with the better players around you?
Yeah, I think it does, and obviously not only Morgs, like everyone else around, Billy Sharp, he's a different type of player to Morgan, goal scorer especially, so that helps me, achieve what he's achieving, and obviously, the goals to win games, so.
Players like Billy, they've been in the game a long time, the things they say to you, how much does that help you as well, the advice that they pass on?
Yeah, it's helping me a lot, understanding the game more. Obviously, the Championship is a tough league, so I need to get all these bits of information I can.
Tough game next, we've got Bournemouth on Saturday, but I'm guessing these are the challenges that you really want to be involved in.
Yeah, definitely, obviously all the games in the Championships are tough, and we just need to obviously learn from our last game and go train, be ready to play.
Iliman Ndiaye clearly enjoying a good run of first team action, and somebody who's growing in confidence, Neil.
He does, yeah. I mean, he doesn't lack confidence at all. I mean, just looking at the clips there, the strike that's hit the post. I mean, the only thing I would say as an attacking midfield player that's been in that position, he's got to go back across the goal. But we're nitpicking there. But he's an unbelievable talent. He's got great feet, real goal awareness, and athleticism around the box that puts defenders at real unease. If you look at him here attacking people, and he's capable of scoring goals, and I think he's been a breath of fresh air since he's come into the team.
And Kevin, he was talking very enthusiastically about the relationship on the pitch that he's working up with Morgan Gibbs-White. They kind of similar in a way, and the way in which they're gelling is exciting to watch.
Yes, absolutely. They're very similar players, aren't they? They're both very good at the ball, and as Neil was saying, they're very technically very good, moves the ball well, manoeuvres the ball well, and both of them seem to be in tune with each other's where they want to run. They're looking for each other with the pass. I mean, it's great to see. I mean, I love Ndiaye. I think, as Neil said, he's been a breath of fresh air, and he's given us something that we haven't had for a good few years, actually, that creative kind of floaty number 10 type role, except Ndiaye is a bit more of a striker, I think.
You love to see the players, don't you, where you can almost sense a little bit of a buzz around the stadium when he gets on the ball, because you're sort of thinking, oh, something exciting is going to happen now.
Well, they're the entertainers. These are the type of players that supporters come to see, because they've got the ability to unlock defences, and both him and Morgan Gibbs-White, I think they're both capable of going past players, and if you give them the right sort of service and get them in the right areas, then they're dangerous players.
Key man this afternoon, Kevin, before you disappear off to do the commentary?
All our forwards, yeah. I mean, the game will be won and lost, in both penalty areas, as most games of football are. So if Ndiaye can get on the ball and Gibbs-White can do his stuff as well and feed Billy Sharp, yeah, he's going to be a crucial player for Sheffield United, not just for the next game, but all season.
So Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 4.
That'll be fine.
That'll do nicely, won't it?
Take that.
I'll look forward to hearing your commentary. Please deliver that one. It'll certainly put a smile on everybody's face, and certainly everybody here in the studio at Bramall Lane. Well, now let's look ahead specifically to this afternoon's game and hear the thoughts of the manager and what he makes of the match against Bournemouth.
It's completely different. It's different style of the game. It's different team. We are try analyze the strengths and weaknesses of Bournemouth. They start very well. They are without any defeat in the competition. But for another side, we want to be in fighting with them. They be in the level of them for fighting for the similar targets like they are fighting actually right now. at the end, it's a great chance for us check where we are, and great chance for us for push hard for driving the 3 points.
They, as a football club too, are also perhaps evidence of the toughness of getting relegated from the Premier League to the Championship. You know, they've not bounced back straight away. It's a hard task.
Okay, it's of course it's hard task. Everything is tough. This is part of the competition. They are started better than us. It's question is who will finish it better, and that's it. We cannot give up, like they cannot be relaxed after a good start. Is a lot of the space is ahead of both teams.
You've got bags of experience at this level, Neil Redfearn, and things are bunching up, aren't they? At the top, there was the victory of Stoke City, 1-0 against West Bromwich Albion last night, and things are close and will probably continue to be close. I mean, it's an old cliche, but it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, this one.
Absolutely that, yeah. I think that the more consistent you are, and the more you can tough out performances at times. It's not always pretty, it's not always the prettiest division to watch, the Championship, but it's exciting, you know. And I think that if you can be consistent and you can keep your key players fit and available, then you've got a chance. You've got a chance of competing. And I think that you know, if you look at the recent run of results, I think that we're going in the right direction.
What was your when in your managerial days, and of course working with Sheffield United's women's team now, when you get to this stage close to the kick-off time, are you trying to give the Churchillian rallying call, or are you just trying to keep it nice and calm, cool and collected? How does it go?
Well, the most important thing is that the Churchillian stuff needs to come from your players at the kick-off time, 3 o'clock. You know, they need to have that amongst themselves. What you need is clear messages, you know, and clear guidance, you know, of how the game's going to go and what to expect. You know, the worst thing that can happen sometimes is when things are going wrong and your players are looking across to the bench. How do we solve this? You know, that should be done before the game. So you're just looking for some key reminders. You're looking for the girls to be nice and relaxed, or the players to be nice and relaxed. You're looking for them to go out there and be front foot and enjoy it. And you know, by and large, that usually gets you where you want to get.
So before I ask you to stick your neck out and say what you think the score is going to be this afternoon, I've already said United are going to win 4-0. So you know, I hope you're going to match that. But where do you think that the actual key points of this match are? Where's it going to be decided whether United come away from this sort of thinking, yeah, that's a job well done, and taking hopefully a point or maybe more than a point away from it, or how could it go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think that key battleground in midfield is going to be tough. You know, but if you look at Bournemouth's midfield, it's a really talented midfield. Technically, it's really gifted. It's quite physical as well. So I think Ollie Norwood and John Fleck are going to have to be at the best in there, along with Iliman Ndiaye coming back and giving them that extra support in there. They're going to need them extra bodies because it'll be tough, that midfield battleground. I think if we can come out on top of that, or give as good as we get, then I think we can get a result. I think there's no reason why we can't go to Bournemouth and get something.
Key figures, it'd be lovely to see it, wouldn't it? So is that your prediction? Do you think they can get a result out of this?
I think we'll get a point today, and I think a point will be a good result. And you know, I think that we've got to go out and just keep playing the way we're playing. I think we've been playing well. I've seen a few games this season. I think the boys are playing well, and I think we've got to go out and be confident about it.
Right. Well, let's hope that they can be confident. Let's hope that they can come away with what would be a terrific victory on opponent's home turf. Let's hope that Sheffield United can get something out of this match against table-topping Bournemouth. Time now to hand over to our commentary team, and as ever, you're in the hands of Kevin Gage and first of all, Matt Young.
With one more game to go before the international break, United are looking to bounce back from midweek defeat to Middlesbrough and become the first team to beat Bournemouth in the Championship.